I will be first in a series of videos that I'm going to do based on people in wheelchairs. Uh, Today's issue in particular, um, I don't know if anybody followed my. Well, I know I didn't have much of a following with my last videos, but today I wanted to talk specifically about questions. There's a big misconception that you, if you know a person in a wheelchair, then they must be comfortable with you and are willing to answer any questions that you may have. This is not necessarily true. Um, just because we know you, and just because uh, you may be our friend, there are just certain questions that you do not ask. Period. Um, I think when it comes to questions about intimacy, or really anything of a personal nature, then that's really none of anyone's business. Um, I had a friend, I have a friend who they were showing off an engagement ring to a group of friends of theirs, and one of their friends thought that it was okay, or one of the people they associated with thought it was okay to ask whether or not they could have children. Now, this isn't to say that we won't answer any of your questions, that we're becoming closed mouths and we want you to stop asking questions. It's that, one, I think before you ask a question, you should really consider, is this something that I really need to know about a person? Um, I think you need to consider that, is this something that if turned on me, would I feel comfortable in being asked this question? Um, and really, I think you will find that anything that has to do with your personal life, you may not feel so comfortable in answering. You know, and thus, maybe it's not, maybe you shouldn't feel so comfortable as to ask the person. Um, there are times that we will answer questions. We handicap people in general. I keep saying we, but, and this is really like, I'm talking in a general sense, but in a lot of different ways, we're different in that, who knows, you may run across somebody who's willing to answer any questions that you may have. But on the whole, you're not going to find many people who you've just met or who you, let's say you, that person works in the same place as you. That doesn't necessarily make you friends. That just makes you co-workers. And though you should get along with your co-workers, it's not necessary that you're going to become friends with your co-workers. Everybody knows that. So if you're not real deep friends with a person, then there's certain information that you just don't need to know about. Also, it also depends on how questions are asked. Some people really are curious. Okay, well, are you able to wait until you're in a more private setting? Or is it something that you want to make a fool out of the person so you've said it in front of a large crowd? Um, Usually you can tell the difference because the person that's really curious is willing to wait. And they're willing to say, okay, well, let's talk about this at another time. Whereas a person who just wants to make a fool out of you will bring it up in front of anybody, one, and then usually will end their question with laughter. Meaning that they really don't care about the answer, they just want to see you squirm. They just want to see you um, treated like the fool. And that's and if that's the case, well, then like I said before, like I've said a bunch of times in this video, that's when it really becomes none of your business. Now, for those of you who are really curious, I mean, the same rules apply. I mean, there are questions that. Okay, I'll give you for instance so you know how to deal with the situation. Uh, how did you get in a wheelchair? A very basic question. Um, what is your specific disability? Again, um, because to assume that we all have the same disability is a big misconception. Um, Also, something that I want to touch a little bit on is just because we are physically handicapped does not mean that we have a mental handicap as well. Um, our brain patterns are equal, I would say, to any normal person's. Um, we, you will find that a majority of people with physical disabilities will have some sort of learning disability, and that's where I think the problem comes in. People think, well, learning, they can't take in information, thus they're slow. Well, that's a misconception too, because what it means, basically, is that a person with a learning disability cannot process in the same way that a person without a learning disability, like my learning disability, I would say would be math. Which is funny considering that everyone in my family, well, on my mother's side, is great at math. Um, and I was the odd one out, so to speak. Um, so when I see a problem, a math problem, I still have to go to very basic methods of solving the problem, like using my fingers or something of that nature, or even, calculators are big help. But like I said, it's just in the way that I process information. It doesn't mean that I can't hold a conversation. It doesn't mean that I can't understand words. It just means that when it comes to certain things, I have a problem with it in breaking it down. Um, and that goes for other handicapped people as well. You know, we have problems in different areas, but our IQ is still pretty good. Um, it's of the norm. I wouldn't say we're above normal, though they're probably out there that there are people that are probably out there that probably are above normal, but I think we're just as typical as anyone else. It's just certain areas we have a harder time with than others. But that kind of sidetracked. My big thing is that the questions, and I feel I've sufficiently talked about that, and I thank you for anybody who watches my videos, and please feel free to comment and state your piece or whatever you want to say, and talk to you later.